6 Brazilian Urban Legends.
The Procession of Souls.
This legend of Mariana, Minas Gerais, is the inspiration for the religious rite that still takes place in the city today. It is said that a lady lived alone and spent the whole day looking at the street. One night, she saw a procession approaching. The old woman found it strange, because not even the church bells rang, something common on procession days. Even so, the lady stayed from the window watching. Near the end of the procession, one of the people who participated approached and handed a candle to the lady in the window. She put it away and went to sleep. The next day, when she woke up, she found bones in the place where she had left the candle. The outcome of the legend varies. Some versions say that the old woman died, others that the soul returned to fetch the bones the following night. In the end, the moral is the same. The procession of souls is not to be seen by the living.
The Black Cover.
In the 1970s, residents of Juiz de Fora, MG, would have been terrorized by a mysterious man who walked around the city covered in a black cape. As if that wasn't already bizarre enough, there have even been reports of people being attacked by this obscure being. The population, of course, panicked. Groups of inhabitants formed to hunt that black cape. The result of taking justice into their own hands was disastrous. People who had nothing to do with the story, like a priest, confused because of his cassock, were punished. Even the army tried to solve the mystery, but the case seemed to resolve itself, putting an end to the hysteria. On the bank of the river that cuts through the city, a cloak and a farewell note from the suspect were found, which he said was misunderstood by society.
The Curse of the Fofo.
Around 1986, rumors spread that, when disassembling the Fofo doll, character from the classic children's show Balão Mágico, it was possible to find a sharp knife hidden near the head. This legend still exists today. There are still those who say that, when night fell, the doll attacked children while they were sleeping.
Clown Gang.
You must have seen it on the internet and probably been terrified by the story of macabre clowns that appeared in several countries, including Brazil. But are you thinking that this wave of sinister clowns is from now? A few years ago, a blue van drove around Brazil without arousing suspicion. But one day, children got into this vehicle and were never seen again. Legend has it that the boys were targeted by the clown gang, who stole organs. The bad guys would take advantage of the empathy that children have for the comic figure of the circus and lure them to their death. This story was so widespread that several clowns lost their jobs and received death threats. No wonder the clown phobia arose at the time when this legend was at its peak.
Bathroom Blonde.
A list of Brazilian urban legends would not be complete without this eternal horror diva. After all, who hasn't tried to summon her in the school bathroom? The most accepted version of the story is not at all scary. In fact, Maria Augusta de Oliveira, born in Guaratingueta, São Paulo, in the 19th century, is an example of female empowerment, which, come to think of it, might have been scary for society at the time. When she was forced by her parents to get married as a teenager, a common situation at the time, Maria Augusta fled to Europe, where she lived happily until she was 26, when she died. His death remains a mystery to this day, as his death certificate is missing. The body was returned to Brazil, but the girl's mother refused to bury it, leaving it at the family home. The young woman was only buried after her mother suffered a series of nightmares. Years later, in 1902, the family mansion became the Consulheiro Rodriguez Alves State School, and the legend emerged that the young woman's soul still haunted the place, intensified by a fire suffered in the building. But where does the bathroom come into this story? That's where the mystery is. Nothing connects the ghost of Maria Augusta to any bathroom. This detail was probably created to prevent school students from skipping class in the bathroom.
The organ thief.
It's common to hear stories involving people who are drugged and wake up in a bathtub of ice and without a kidney. Total terror. Well, there is a Brazilian urban legend that deals with this frightening theme. The story goes that Leandro, an 11-year-old boy, won a virtual game for Christmas. In it, the boy could talk to other players from different countries. He ended up becoming good friends with a user called Lourdes Sagadora, who sent him a link. According to his mysterious colleague, it was a game he had developed himself. Full of innocence, Leandro clicked on the link, which was actually a tracker that showed the child's address. The next day, the boy would have woken up in a bathtub full of ice with a cut on his back.